What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back for another week of best bets and props. This time it's for a pay-per-view card, UFC 277. Juliana Peña making her first title defense at bantamweight versus Amanda Nunes in a rematch. Co-main event, another 5-round war between two flyweights battling for the interim championship. Brandon Moreno versus Kai Kara France in a rematch as well. So it should be fun. 13 fights currently on the card. And I've got quite a few moneyline bets to go over. So last week and the week before, I was down probably about 4 units or so on each of those cards. The week before that was a very good one. You know, parlays paid out, went about 10 units up. Now I've paid back a little bit of that to the bookies again. So I'm going back to the basics, man. I'm going back to just betting a bunch of money lines. I've bet 6 money lines on this card. So probably more than I've put on a best bets and props in a while. Putting the parlays aside for now, the parlays were very profitable at the middle to end of last year, the early quarter of this year. But, you know, with all these freak injuries, these, weird decisions in the main event. Sometimes I don't hedge out, sometimes I can't. The parlays have become a little bit of a pain in the ass recently, so I'm just going to go back to money lines. I have 6, I have 3 favorites, and I have 3 underdogs, so I'm going to be sharing all of those. Again, since there are quite a few fighters I'm betting on, refer to my full card breakdown for this week for like very fine details of how I think these fights play out. I'm just going to go over the cliff notes for all 6 of these plays, and then I have a couple of props, only 2 props. But I'll list, I think, 4 more that I like as well. I just haven't played. Since I'm playing so many money lines, I often don't like to double dip with playing a money line, then playing a prop as well. You know, that way it could either be really good or really bad. So I'm trying to take the risk out of it. There are some risky fighters I'm betting on. I'm going to tell you that, but I do think they come through. And I think there is value on each of these money lines. So starting with the one that I actually bet the most on, which is Alexander Pantoja. I've got him winning over Alex Perez pretty easily here. I just think he's got a better fluid stand-up ability, a better mixture of being able to transition from stand-up to ground work as well. And he's never been finished, so very good durability. His record is amazing as well. Got high-level wins compared to Alex Perez, who actually, you know, he looks very impressive, has some stoppage wins and things like that. Looks great. I'm not counting out Alex Perez too much, but if you look at his actual resume, his wins are only over a couple of opponents that actually have winning UFC records. The rest have all been cut from the promotion, not to mention he's been off for 2 years and really struggles to make weight often. And I'd be surprised if he looks okay on the scale. So I like Alexander Pantoja here. Minus 174 on the money line is what I got him at. So I'm paying 3.5 units to win 2. That's my that's the biggest money line bet that I have. The rest, I'm only wagering 1 unit, or I'm paying the price on the favorite to win 1 unit in return. So keep that in mind for the next 5, including the first underdog, which is Nikolai Negumereanu over the debuting Ihor Potieria. I mentioned in my full card breakdown I wasn't going to be happy putting money on Negumereanu, but this is such a clear fade over a Dana White Contender Series standout and a guy who's got such a sketchy record on the Ukrainian regional scene. This guy is, first off the odds here, Negumereanu, plus 105. So I'm wagering 1 unit to win 1.05 units. Almost an even money underdog. I did miss the line movement on this just a little bit, but Negumereanu at least has the UFC experience, proven durability, and I think he's going to out-wrestle Ihor Potieria against the cage, maybe get some takedowns if need be, but I think the durability will, really be the difference here, because Potieria is used to getting a bunch of bums in the European scene out of there quickly. I just don't think that's going to happen here against Negumereanu, who's been in there with the likes of Kennedy and Zetraku, Alexa Kamer, and he's really stood the test of durability against UFC caliber opponents. So he's not the greatest in the world, but this is a clear fade over somebody I don't think is UFC caliber in Potieria. So give me Negumereanu. The next one is another, it's women's MMA. It's Jocelyn Edwards. I'm paying 1.4 units to win 1 on her, minus 140 on the money line. I just like the youth advantage here. I think she's got better optics with her stand-up. You know, her kicks and punches are going to have just a little bit more zip on them, a little bit more stopping power, and gain a little bit more respect over Ji Yeon Kim, who is a very experienced, stand-up fighter as well in the UFC. And Ji Yeon Kim is pretty good output, but not very good striking accuracy, not very much respect gained off of her punches and kicks. And both of these women actually are going to have a fun time in the octagon because they're finally not facing a grappler or a wrestler. which is what both of them suffer with, right? So if they get taken down, it's over. At least Jocelyn Edwards is young and improving, does have some BJJ training as well. And Ji-Yeon Kim, just if she gets taken down once, she cannot get back up. But I like the power advantage and the youth advantage for Jocelyn Edwards. So I've got a bet on her. Moving on to Don'Tale Mayes. Another sketchy, person to bet on here, but it's over an even sketchier opponent. We're talking about Hamdi Abdelwahab, who's the Egyptian Olympic wrestler. Everybody's been talking about making his debut here on short notice. Don'Tale Mayes was supposed to take on Justin Tafa, a much more difficult opponent who's UFC caliber. I'm paying the price of -150 on Don'Tale Mayes, who's got a huge size advantage, huge experience advantage. Not the greatest of heavyweights at all. He's in that bottom caliber of heavyweights, is Don'Tale Mayes. But Hamdi, if you watch the tape study on this guy, all of his bouts, he has about 5 amateur bouts over complete bums, where he even, I've seen the Olympic wrestler get taken down himself in some of those amateur MMA bouts. Then he went and had a couple fights in Jorge Masvidal's Game Bred promotion, a bare knuckle MMA hybrid. And, he got early stoppages over some just guys who don't even look like fighters at all. And then a few professional mixed martial arts wins over sketchy opponents. So Hamdi Abdelwahab is going to be at a major size disadvantage, a major experience disadvantage, and I don't see Don'Tale Mayes being a guy who's going to fall over in 30 seconds like Hamdi's used to, So Don'Tale Mayes has only been finished a couple of times, and they were in the later parts of the fight. So he's at least proven durable and a huge size advantage. This might be an opportunity we'll never get again to be able to bet against a guy as inexperienced and just, unproven as Hamdi Abdelwahab. So give me Don'Tale Mayes there. Another underdog up next is Alex Morono at +136 odds is where I got him at. I think you could have done a little bit better than that, but +136, Alex Morono, he's got so much more time in the cage, so much more experience, so much more proven durability than Matt Semmelsberger, who has fought, 3 UFC debutantes. And, one Jason Witt, who he knocked out in 15 seconds. And then he also has a loss to Chaos Williams. So, I like Semmelsberger. I like his athleticism, his size. He does seem to have, that one-punch knockout power. But, again, it's against Jason Witt, and it's against Martin Sano, who's, just a no-name, irrelevant person. So, like I said, 3 UFC debutants. Alex Morono's been in the UFC 15 times. He's gone 10-5 in those against high-level opposition. Only been finished by Anthony Pettis and Chaos Williams, I believe. So, this is just a case where I think the line should be probably flipped here, right? I think Morono should be the favorite, but he's actually a decent-sized underdog. So clear bet for me. I like Morono's durability and his constant forward pressure and a great ability to get opportunistic submission attempts. We haven't seen a lot of those submission finishes. He has faced some tough opponents, but I see this going over, and I see Morono getting his hand raised. Another underdog up next, even juicier underdog, is Rafael Alves to beat Drew Dober. +175 is where I got Rafael Alves. This Brazilian is so fast, so powerful in the early round, right? He just bum rushes his opponents, and when he smells blood, he doesn't just go for ground and pound finishes. He dives on necks and gets submission wins. So amazing speed in round 1. I think he does get this done in round 1 over Drew Dober. And Drew Dober has always struggled against opponents such as this Brazilian here. He struggles, and all of his losses, all of his inside the distance finishes for Drew Dober are from the opponent being a grappler or a wrestler. So go look at his record every single time for the past 8 or 9 years. He has always been struggling against guys who can take him down or provide some sort of submission threat, oftentimes very early in the fight as well. So if you are, banking on the fact that Rafael Alves is too much of a wild man for your taste, you think he's going to gas out early, and you think Drew Dober can withstand that forward pressure like he did against Terrence McKinney, then I would live bet Drew Dober after round 1, because you could probably get more closer to even money instead of the price that he's at right now. So if you're on the Drew Dober side, I would live bet him after round 1. Otherwise, I like Rafael Alves at these odds. I think it should be a lot closer than this. He's a very dangerous guy. That moves me to, so I've gone over quickly all 6 of the money lines I have. Again, going over Pantoja, Negumereanu, Mayes, Morono, Edwards, and Rafael Alves. 3 favorites, 3 underdogs. Now going on to the 2 props that I have. There's only a couple. Piggybacking off the Rafael Alves play, I do have a quarter unit play on Alves round 1 submission. +950 is what I got this at, So I see this playing out kind of like the Terrence McKinney fight that I mentioned, where Terrence McKinney came in with a flying knee over Drew Dober, knocked him down, and Terrence McKinney went for a bunch of ground and pound strikes and actually, gave Drew Dober time to recover, get back to his feet, get his wits about him, kind of woke him up with some of those ground and pound strikes. Rafael Alves won't be doing that. He'll dive on necks and get him out of there if he smells blood. So I like that round 1 sub. I see that as being, I'm not going to play crystal ball here and expect that to happen at a high clip, but a much higher clip that will happen than plus 950. I'll tell you that. So the second prop I have is actually, I got to give credit to my guy, Lou Peña, my good friend at the MMA Engine. We were talking about early plays for this card, about a week ago, and Juliana Peña versus Amanda Nunes to go over half of the fight, go over 2.5 rounds at even money, plus 100. I do have a couple units on that. As I expect either way, I don't think Amanda Nunes is going to risk getting gassed out like she did in the embarrassing fight she had where she lost her belt back in December. I think she slows down the pace a little bit. I'm not saying she's going to be timid and, not eager to throw, but I don't think she's going to unload with a wrestling-heavy game plan, unload with, trying to get her out of there like she did against, like, Cyborg or somebody like that. I think she's going to, get her rhythm going at this weight class again in round 1, burn time off the clock, go in there in round 2, maybe Juliana Peña actually shows some durability, maybe she puts up some resistance. I think this clock will burn up until halfway through this fight at least. After that, who knows what happens? Maybe Amanda Nunes cranks it up, gets a late finish. Maybe she cruises to a decision win or loss. I don't want to play a side on this one because I think, Nunes is... You're either going to get a really good price on Nunes or a really bad price on her, right? This is either going to be a case where you parlay up Nunes and you think she's the greatest of all time still, and then, Peña wins and you feel like an idiot because it's like, we already saw this play out. Why would you think it would be different? Or, Amanda Nunes comes back to her normal form, proves that the last fight was a fluke, and looks like a minus 1,000, and you just got a good deal on a fighter that's the greatest of all time. I don't want to play that game, play a side, it feels stupid. I just want to play the over 2.5. At even money for a women's bantamweight fight, I'll take that. So I like those odds. Good play by Lou Peña. I appreciate that one. Those are my only 2 props that I played. The other ones that I recommend or that I think have value, Pantoja inside the distance at plus 225 over Alex Perez. I like Brandon Moreno to win by decision over Kai Kara France at plus 235. I like the Drew Dober, Rafael Alves to finish inside the distance at minus 170. And I like Morono and Semmelsberger over 2.5 at minus 180. I think both guys will be durable and last until the judges' scorecards in that fight. So there we go. I only have played those 6 money lines and those 2 props. So I don't think I'm going to get to those last 4 props. But again, if you're not picking a side or if you think you want better value on Brandon Moreno, Pantoja, somebody like that, I like those 4 props. I think they do have value. Otherwise, just a couple of announcements. So this is the best bets and props video. I always do, a couple days before the fights. I'm going to be transforming this into a live stream format where I make it a little bit more long form and I have guests on the show, notable names. My first guest will be 1 week from tonight at 9:30 Central Time, and that is Eric Betts Fights, one of the sharpest minds in the game, one of the nicest guys in the MMA community. And, he was one of the first people that had me on a show on YouTube. So I thank Eric for that. Now he'll be the first on my show. So that'll be a week from today on Wednesday, 9:30 Central Time. Then I think the guest after that will be Lou Peña himself, another good friend of mine from the MMA Engine, the following week. So stay tuned for those. I'll definitely post those on Twitter and make announcements about that. If you want to catch me talking about fights for this fight card, catch me on Johnny K. Picks channel on Saturday, about an hour or 2 before the fights start. Check Johnny's page for the exact time that starts. Johnny K. Picks, me and my guy Blood Money Bets will be on there. Maybe another capper as well. So that'll be Saturday. If you're just bored hanging around the house before the fights start, check us out on there. It should be fun. Chopping it up with those guys. So, all right, good luck in all your betting action. Like, subscribe, let's keep the channel growing. A lot of fun content coming your way from Addicted to Combat. So, this will be a fun pay-per-view. Not the best name value, not the best main event, but an opportunity to get back on track, make some money, and hope that there's not a doctor stoppage in the main event, for God's sake. So, I'll catch you guys on Sunday for the recap. Cheers.